Good morning, everyone on YouTube. Happy 2014. Scratch that, 2015. Sorry, guys, I'm a bit tired. This is way late in the morning. I should have done this earlier in the day, but I didn't get around to it. This is probably going to go under my Godzilla reviews. I was going to do movie reviews, but I just couldn't do it. And I misplaced some of my DVDs. Who knows what I did with them. I wanted to show off some of my Godzilla figurines. And tell you what I think that I like about them. And these are the figurines from the 60th birthday of Godzilla. And that's what Bandai has pretty much labeled them as. Now I will mention that some of these figurines, if you buy them and you don't work with them probably right once you open, you get them, open them and you take them out of their box, they will be very stiff. King Caesar is one of those that will be very stiff. You really do need to articulate to get it to work. Now, the one I'm going to show you right off the bat is the 1954 Godzilla. He is charcoal gray, very retro designed Godzilla. He is reminiscent of the 1954 movie. And believe it or not, I had a Godzilla figure that I believe was probably patterned around the 1960s. But he was a dark green with a silver patch on the chest and silver spines. Now I don't know if he was like a repaint or something, but he had the very old Godzilla look. Not like this, of course, but I believe Bandai outdid themselves with the sculpt. They did it very perfect to form. I don't know. I can try to see if I can get the camera to kind of zoom, but the camera is really pretty much focused on my face, so it's really hard to get this guy completely in the picture if I don't move him if I don't move the webcam closer. As you can tell, his spines are white. He's got kind of like the silverish tinge on his feet, but they're more kind of a whitish gray color. 1954, not bad. Very much looks like the suit. I mean, to me anyway. And then we have King Caesar. Finally managed to get his tail moved, by the way. Had to work and play with him. He articulates, but like I said, the tail is very stiff. You have to work with it. When he comes in the box, his tail will be pretty much like this. His feet do move. You have to really play with these guys because they're going to be very stiff when you get them. So, I mean, even the ears are very stiff, but you can get it to like he's firing back at Mecha, 74 Mecha G. Or I mean, is it 74 or is it 94? I mean, is it 54? I don't remember. It could be 1974 as far as I'm concerned. I can't remember the dates for these characters. I'm totally bad at the years, but the next one up is King Ghidorah, and I've still got to work on getting his heads to articulate. I'm gonna have to be pretty much working on that. I know that he should be able to articulate right here, but when you get him, they tape one part of his tail with plastic, and I'm telling you, it's a freaking nightmare to get out. And the box with the plastic was very hard to get out. I mean, it was just a nightmare. I completely ended up tearing his box, which is kind of disappointing because I wanted to keep the box in case I ever had to sell these figures. Because eventually, you know, the 60th anniversary figures will eventually go sky high. I mean, they'll eventually get to where you can't buy them anymore. You know, they won't be as cheap. I still have figures to get. The Gigan Fusion, which I thought was really pretty. I want to get that eventually, but it's very expensive, so I might have to wait until maybe the 22nd period of my paycheck, possibly. There's the 94 NECA Godzilla that I want to get. There is another one, but I think it's an import from Japan, and it's 94, I believe. It's 12-inch. Would like to get that. I want to get the 1974 Mecha G, and I'd love to get Kiryu, but Kiryu is very expensive, so I don't know if I'll be able to get him. But I absolutely love Mechagodzilla. I mean, the only problem with his storyline is they've changed his storyline so many times. Like, the original Godzilla, Mechagodzilla version is controlled by ape aliens, and they eventually destroyed that idea because they got told they were ripping off Planet of the Apes, basically. But I thought that was a really great storyline. It only saddens me that when they did bring back Mecha G, the way they brought him back is they had the government that was fighting Godzilla pretty much rebuilt Mecha G, and then to me it just took away the element of being not a space cyborg. Like Gigan's always been a space cyborg, which has been destroyed. But let's see. Well, I have to say, out of the two movies that had Gigan, he was never destroyed except for Final Wars. And of course, maybe, you know, in the video games, people, you know, destroyed him. But out of the movies, I mean, the guy's always left, been defeated and left. Kind of the same thing with Megalon the Coward. I don't even have Megalon, geez, you know. Hedorah, I don't have Hedorah either. Hedra, yeah, Hedra. Mechagodzilla, Gigan, the old Gigan, and then the upgraded Gigan. Hedra, I want to get. Megalon, I would love to get, but you just cannot find a figure that's cheap enough from Bandai to get. I mean, you can't. So the X Plus figures from Monster, even from Monster Arts, they're too expensive. I can't get them. I just don't make enough money to buy it. So I've got to go with Bandai because they're about the cheapest, and NECA, you know, and hopefully NECA straightens up their act and doesn't start rushing the Godzilla figurines. Because when I watched a review on that from Goji Fan 93. And I perfectly agree with them. You can tell that they did a complete and horrible job on the 1984 figure, which they call it 1985, but it's really 1984. But I think it depends on when the film was released, because I think they had probably different versions of that, and depending on where you were in the region, you know, depending on where that movie came out, you know, was released. Maybe the 1985 version refers to when it was released to video, you know. I honestly don't know, but I'm just guessing, okay? Don't quote me on that. But I really like this figure, but here's the problem with this figure, okay? On Amazon, when you go and you look for this figure for cheap, there are some pictures of this figure look like this guy has man boobs, okay? It does. It looks like he has boobs. And even on video, I can tell you it looks like he's got boobs. And I know in movies it did too, it looked like he had boobs. Now, whether the King Ghidorah is a guy or a girl, that's a good question. because I'm a girl and I'm well endowed with my boobs. So, it really does. It looks like he has boobs, and I'm just laughing when I say that because it really looks like he's a female. Now, I guess you could get, you could get two King Ghidorah figures. Or in fact, you could get three and say, okay, this is Mr., this is Mrs. King Ghidorah, and over here is Junior, And you could have fun with that. Me, I would do that. I would have fun with it. But yeah, I love his color. I've got to work, though, to get his heads movable. The wings are movable, which is fine, because if you're, like, wanting to play the idea that, he's flapping his wings, and, well, not particularly flapping his wings, but he's causing wind, on Godzilla, then, this is perfect for that. The only thing that doesn't move really are his feet. His feet do not move. So, that's just a thing that you'll have to get used to because his feet don't move. Now, here's my Godzilla Millennium series. A lot of people did not like the pink on the dorsal fins. To me, I equate that with his precluding to rage in the Atari games, because when he's gearing up to let loose his rage-induced breath, it's orange, and these sort of glow with an orange light. So, if these were colored in red, I would say that is a prelude to him being very angry, and I have not played with this figure, so I cannot tell you that the tail looks like should be movable. I mean, to me it should be movable. But they scaled it so that it doesn't, you can't just switch it around and give it, a good whack, knock stuff over. His feet move. You get this movement with his hands. The head doesn't move, but let me tell you something about Bandai. They know how to make a Godzilla figure. The detail on this dude, it's perfect. You cannot get that anywhere else. The detail, the tongue, the eyes, they're well done, okay? Yeah, his feet are, they're white looking. But I've seen some figures where they've painted his toenails yellow, so, that pretty much is it for my figures. But I'm going to get more eventually. It's just a slow process. Me buying books. I buy a lot of vampire romance books. So, it's a fine line between my reading material and buying Godzilla figures, because I either have money for one or the other. And right now, I'm buying books. So, I would say probably on the 7th, what I might do is buy the very expensive Fusion Gigan, because that looked like almost the correct version of Gigan in Godzilla vs. Gigan. The other one was black, and I really didn't want to buy that. It looked horrible. But, I would probably buy those two together side by side, just do a comparison on the review. Just because they look so totally different. Color-wise, it's a different color scheme. I'd be tempted to get the Godzilla Fusion, but I really don't, because he's totally black and the spines are black, and then I don't think you'd be able to see him if I did a review on that. But I think I'm going to look up on YouTube and see if anybody's done a review on the Godzilla Fusion toys, because I'm curious to know. There's a Godzilla Fusion Rainbow Mothra that I thought about getting, because that's a it's not as expensive. But we'll see, because like I said, I've got to get the old Mecha G, which is 6-inch. And these pretty much are just going to be figures. I'm not going to do any stop motion, because I can't. You guys would see my hands if I did stop motion. I don't have really any editing tools that I'll fix up that, and don't have backgrounds that would really, give it justice. And I don't have a thing set up for Godzilla to trash, Otherwise, I would have a fake Tokyo set and, tell him, go have at it, But I just don't. I would love to see more stuff on these Godzilla figurines, because I think Toho's coming out with, they're going to start filming in, 2016 for a new movie, which is good. I'm totally excited about that. They've said, from my understanding on internet resources, it's going to go global-wise. They're going to globally do it. It'll be released globally, so that means America will get another Godzilla film from Toho. I'm hoping they'll do some more action figures for it. I mean, shoot, I love Big G, and I know that they've said this is supposed to be a standalone movie. They said whatever Legendary's doing does not prevent them from making a Godzilla movie, which they're totally, correct. They could even pull the plug from Gareth Edwards and say, hey, we don't want you making, the sequel to your Legendary Godzilla, That's the other thing. I need to get Godzilla 2014. I actually want to get the big Jack Pacific Godzilla 24-inch guy. I don't, the sad thing is, if I get him, I won't be able to take him out of the box, because I don't really have a place to put him. I really got to clean off my computer desk, because that's got a lot of my ceramics, and it's got a bunch of crap on there. I need to go through and clean it. I just need to go through and clean a bunch of stuff. If worst comes to worst, a lot of my Godzilla figures will end up in my closet. I mean, that's where I'll have to stick them. Because I've got some of these guys actually may just throw the box away because they're taking up room, and I could just put my Godzilla figures up on my TV or my right behind my TV and stuff like that. But the only one that I would really need to lean up against something is going to be King Caesar, because he will fall down. He is not balanced quite like he should be. So he does have to have something to lean against. That's the only issue I have with King Caesar. You almost have to have something that he can lean up against, because the way that they've designed him is he will literally fall on his feet. He will not, you can't get him to just, he'll just literally fall. And, he's not counterweighted like he should be. He should be counterweighted. His tail should have been a lot longer to counterweight this problem. Yeah, he's not counterweighted. Basically, he needs to he should have had a lot more weight on his feet or something, because he's not counterweighted enough to stop him from pretty much falling over. So he's the only one that I will probably keep his box. The other three, they pretty much can stand on their own because of the way their tails are designed. But King Caesar cannot. He has to have something to lean against. Even if I let him go, he'll topple over. But that's just the way he was made. If you have something he can lean up against, he's perfectly fine. But if you don't, then he pretty much will fall. That's just a given. But yeah, he has to have something to lean up against, otherwise he'll pretty much fall down, and you'll be screwed. I have him in his box right now leaning against his thing, so he's pretty much contained, so he won't go nowhere. The other three, well, King Ghidorah's box, I had to destroy. When I get Gigan, that's probably gonna be another thing. That's gonna be a little bit hard to do. Gigan will cost me about $49. So, like I said, he might not be got till the 22nd of January. In February, I'm gonna see about getting the NECA version of probably Godzilla 94 and Godzilla 2014. I don't like their idea. Their 1984 version is terrible, and I wish we had a better version of that or a remake. But we just don't. I mean, the closest you can get to 84 is probably Diamond Select's Vinyl Godzilla Bank. I mean, that's the closest you could probably get, I imagine. I don't know that I would get that because I don't think it's not, you can't use it to articulate or anything like that. It's pretty much a bank. But as far as that goes, there's some other things that I want to see if I can get my hands on. The only one I can't get my hands on, of course, is Mecha King Ghidorah, because that guy's expensive. I think I can get my hands on a cheap Space Godzilla, which I thought about doing with maybe switching it out with one of the NECA guys, because I know there's only one in stock for one of the NECA guys, and I don't know if I'll get that one. It just depends. Okay. So right now, this is kind of what I'm thinking, okay? So what I might do is get the Fusion guy again, and maybe, if I can swing it, get, oh heck. Space Godzilla. So what I might do, because Gigan's not cheap, so what I might do is get Space Godzilla first, because I love his design. He is so fabulous. He is actually one of my favorite suits in Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And Baby Godzilla was pretty cool too. Godzilla Jr. Oh shoot, I wish I could have gotten that, because that when it was cheap, it was awesome, but I just couldn't afford it. I'm gonna go, guys, because this has been pretty much a long video, and I'm pretty sure that this needs to upload. So I'm gonna sign off and wish you all happy hunting for Godzilla figurines. So goodbye and good luck, dudes.